all that at least this room really likes. Leighton Vander Esch, Connor Williams, the offensive lineman from Texas, and Michael Gallup, the wide receiver from Colorado State. Got a couple of picks here in the 4th round. It's going to be awesome to track it. And fortunately for us, we are in a room full of people who have studied and know these prospects. I'm Jeff Kavanaugh, Kevin Turner here with me from 105.3 The Fan, and we team up with our buddies from DallasCowboys.com, the godfather of our scouting room, Brian Broaddus, David Hellman, and Dane Brugler, who will be the MVP of this day because when the 243rd player gets off the board, he'll have his entire life story and a scouting report for you. So excited to get this thing going. The picks will start coming off the board here in about 15 minutes, and when they do in this round, they go quickly. I noticed in round 1, the Cowboys picked immediately, didn't they? They knew who they were picking. They were picking Leighton Vander Esch, and they picked. Yeah. And the TV said, yeah, let that 10-minute clock run.
Right.
We're on TV here.
Milk your Cowboy time, too.
Yesterday, when the picks happened, and it was pretty fast and furious, and it's only going to get faster today. So we're going to fly through day 3 of the NFL draft. We've been going around the NFC East just really quickly to set you up with what the other teams have done. We talked about the Giants. Washington in the 1st round. Vita Vea was a popular name for them. At least I know I kept mocking Vita Vea to Washington. And they lost him the pick before they were on the clock. So Deron Payne, defensive tackle Alabama, went to Washington. The slider, Darius Geis, at 59 overall. The running back from LSU, that felt about 20 picks late for him. And then the Louisville offensive tackle, help me with the first name, Dane. Jerron Christian is what Washington has done. From a value perspective, Dane, how have they done so far in this draft?
You guys can speak. Well, I guess
Christian seemed early, Payne seemed early, Geis seemed late.
Yeah, they really wanted the nose tackle. You mentioned Vita Vea. That's kind of who they wanted. But now I'm sure we'll hear Payne was their top nose tackle.
Of course he was.
That's who they ended up with 1 pick later. Makes sense. I was higher on Christian than I think a lot of people, just because I see the value there. A couple years down the road, maybe, if he can develop that technique, develop the discipline, we'll see if he can do that. It's a big if, but I see the feet, I see the length, the body control. Obviously, Darius Geis, it's a loaded conversation with him because not every team was on board with giving him a shot on the roster because of the way the interviews went. They were not buying into what he was selling. So that's an interesting conversation that we watched yesterday, and that'll continue not just today, but into the offseason, into training camp, and into his rookie year.
I had 4 offensive linemen ahead of when Christian went. And I look at their board, and the way I had it, Payne as a 2, Geis as a 2, and then Christian as a 5. We've talked about Jones from Ohio State as a guy, Dan. I know you mentioned him yesterday. Richardson from North Carolina State was a guy. Crosby, we've talked about him. Did you have any of those guys? Was Christian below any of those guys, or was he?
Yeah, they were. Tyrell Crosby's a 2nd-round pick on my board.
Yeah.
And then besides that, I like.
Or was that in the group with like I say with Richardson and that was that kind of?
Because I liked Christian. He was 1 spot ahead of Noteboom, Richardson.
Yeah. I was a Noteboom guy myself.
3 or 4 spots ahead of Okorafor, the Western Michigan tackle that went yesterday.
Yeah, who doesn't know anything about football.
Yeah, and 10 spots ahead of Brandon Parker from North Carolina A&T. So I thought there were a lot of tackles. We saw how many tackles we see go yesterday. 8, 10?
We saw a lot.
I think we have 10 tackles off the board at this point.
The fact that 10 offensive tackles went off the board and one of them wasn't Tyrell Crosby from Oregon is insane to me.
It's very surprising.
Insane.
Strange lady.
Well, it's about how much you love football, and the casual fan out there will roll his eyes, and the disadvantage that we have, we're blessed to have the film and sit down and watch it and evaluate it like the scouts.
We don't have PIs.
But we don't get to go in there and talk to a football ops guy or talk to a trainer or a kid that's a student manager that could tell you, hey, man, stay away from this guy. He's terrible to everybody. Nobody likes him. He's a bad locker. Those are the guys you talk to. So, yeah, we obviously, we didn't get to visit with those guys, and so we set our board on ability. And like Dane was talking about, Crosby's got 2nd-round ability. I have him on my board in the 3rd. Trust me, I'm surprised. I'm surprised he's still sitting there with as many teams that need offensive tackles. I don't know why. The Raiders took 2 guys I wouldn't have taken. And here's some guys that I sure would have taken. And Again, maybe that's why the Raiders are picking players, and I'm doing radio with you cats. I always say that.
You would outpick the Raiders. I believe in you, Brian.
I wish I could have helped John on this one. You know, I just kind of feel like, I know we're getting to the NFC, but the Raiders, that's kind of one of those teams. And we've kind of, Dave, we were at the Combine. They were a table over from us.
Good guys.
And great guys at the Raiders.
Matt, Eddie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shouts out.
Great
Well,
guys.
it's a friend of yours coaching them, right?
Yeah, and John, yeah, I don't want to see John not do good. And so.
Well, they've been making good picks with Reggie McKenzie, and then all of a sudden they have a bad draft.
Well, John's jumped in there, and maybe, I don't know. We need to figure that out for them.
We don't know that they've had a bad draft yet, KT. They haven't played football.
On our board, they've had a bad draft.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
And finally, the Philadelphia
on my
Eagles.
board, put that way. I'm not going to talk.
They
for everybody
took
else.
Colton Miller at 15. Good luck saving that thing.
Well, that was only 3 or 4 rounds early. That happens sometimes. Sometimes you swing on things
After getting fleeced on a trade.
It happens. Philadelphia Eagles.
It's not acceptable, Jeff, and you know it.
The Philadelphia, I'm a positive guy. The Philadelphia Eagles, and I like John Gruden. He cracks me up.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Eagles have only picked one player to this point. They've traded down out of number 32. And they trade back up, if I remember right, to get in front of the Cowboys to take Dallas Goedert. And Jerry mentioned last night that this one, it sounded like this one didn't hurt. This one, they were like, that's fine. We're taking Connor Williams, and that's who we were taking anyway. This is great. But he did mention that he was like, they did get us last year because he mentioned Donnell Pumphrey, the San Diego State running back.
Yeah.
The Eagles jumped us, and they got him. And he went out of his way to mention that.
Shots fired at Switzer.
So, yes, he was like, and then we had
all right, so, hey, man, what we going to do here is I'm going to do like I did last night. I'm going to stream from my phone. My phone got Verizon. Verizon work anywhere underwater. It don't have all that lag, so I'm going to have to set up like I did last night because me using AT&T through my computer, I see that it's not going to work. It's just going to be always lagging. But shout out to those faithful few that's out here. It's AT&T the issue, right? It's just AT&T. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot it live like 95 through my phone. So just give me a few seconds to set it up through that way. You guys can hear my raw, unfiltered opinions, my thoughts on this draft. Shout out to everybody, but it is what it is at this point in time. Right? So I will see you guys on the rebound. And remember, you guys are watching nothing but the best lagging. All right, guys. Salute for those who still in the house. Peace. I'm out. Lag. AT&T need their butt whoop on this damn lagging.